So I'll just start sharing my presentation. All right, so thanks for your patience, and let's get started. So quickly about giving a brief background about the webinar. So this is the first of the series from Hansa Cequity, and today's topic is more around customer centricity and how do you activate that with Cequity Insights. So we will kind of look at various aspects of customer centricity, and then move on to kind of what Cequity Insights is and how it can help you activate customer centricity. So before we get started, just a few logistics points. So Q&A, we are going to take it via chat. So as and when you have a question, please do ping me. And we'll also be separately having a Q&A session towards the end to take any questions that might be there. I think we'll be taking around half an hour, 30-35 minutes to kind of cover the content, and then depending on the kind of questions coming in, we'll see how it goes. But definitely, it should wrap up before 5 o'clock. So brief introduction. I'm Chetan Bhangria. I look after delivery and operations for Hansa Cequity. And let's kind of start off with today's topic. So here's the agenda. We'll briefly, talk about Hansa Cequity to just provide a broader context. Look at customer centricity, Cequity Insights solution, some of the case studies which can be deployed, or use cases which can be deployed using something like Cequity Insights. We'll look at one of the topics which Cequity Insights kind of really allows you to do, and that is visual analytics. And then we'll take a brief kind of preview of one of the products that allows us to do visual analytics, and then we'll wrap up, as I said, with Q&A. So just briefly about Hansa Cequity website, cequitysolutions.com, and as you know, we are in the age of the customer, right? So Cequity actually believes in the fact that this is the age of customer centricity. Just give me a moment. I'm having a problem. Yeah. And if you really look at what Forrester research is saying, the new marketing service providers are really helping clients, kind of really span across multiple areas, which is data, analytics, marketing strategy, and customer experience. So it's just to say that these are the four key pillars of marketing today, and we'll see how Cequity Insights helps you deliver on that. So again, when you really look at a customer life cycle from a organization standpoint or a service provider standpoint, it's really about acquiring customers, managing the relationship, and making sure that you can retain them. So what we at Cequity believe in is we help you acquire customers intelligently, retain them optimally, and manage them profitably. All the three dimensions being important to run a successful business. Let's take a quick look at customer centricity as a concept. So customer centricity, if in the simplest of terms, really means that you keep customer at the center of everything as he or she goes through the customer decision journey. So we'll kind of elaborate on the points as we move forward. So let's take a quick poll. So I've kind of sent across a question which says, who first articulated the term customer decision journey? So if you can just provide your responses. All right, so they're coming in. Okay, so we've got almost 80% of people voting in, and the first or the maximum votes, which is around 65%, goes to McKinsey, and that's correct. So let's kind of look at the other concept which I've mentioned. So the second question is, who popularized the concept of ZMOT? The responses, please. All right, again, 80% votes in, and the majority has answered Google. So that's correct. Let's kind of then briefly refresh what these essentially mean. And interestingly, I found a good mashup of both the concepts, which is the customer decision journey and ZMOT. So the customer decision journey was essentially something that McKinsey came out with, and it became quite popular. And then ZMOT was kind of a Google idea, which became quite viral in the marketing industry. Now let's look at let's quickly go through the the mashup concept. So typically we start off with a trigger point. So a trigger essentially could lead to you searching out for a product or a service. Now when you and we'll, as I go through this, we'll talk about an example. Let's say you kind of you've visited your friend and you've seen a new kind of model of a cool LED TV, and you've been thinking about replacing your old TV for quite some time now. So that could potentially be a trigger. Hey, maybe it's Diwali time. Let me see how I can really go forward and replace my TV and get a new one. So once you do that, the next step is you would have an initial consideration set, which essentially would be a combination of your brand awareness and your past preferences, what your friends have, what are the ads that you see, on the digital media, on TV, on hoardings, and so on and so forth. So essentially, you might say, you know what, let me kind of look at Samsung, LG, and Sony, because I think these are the brands which I think are solid, right? So that constitutes your initial consideration set, and then you move on to a ZMOT, which is you start searching. ZMOT essentially is the zero moment of truth, and you start searching in terms of just a minute, let me close the poll. Sorry. So your zero moment of truth is when you're doing an online research, right? You might do an online research, and you'd actually kind of say that, hey, this is what I think I should be looking at. Let me see if the initial consideration set is good, or as I do a research, my research results or my search results might say that, hey, you should be considering Panasonic because there's a good deal going on that brand. So I might revise my consideration set, add to it, subtract to it, and move on. And then I kind of really start, maybe, I think TV is not something which I can really just rely on online feedback. It's a very immersive experience, so let me go to the physical store and check it out. So I might do a search again on what is the closest physical store, and it might be Chroma, and I decide, hey, let me go and check it out, right? So I go there, I see brands on display, I look at pricing, I look at the picture quality, sound quality, so on and so forth. I check out the deals, and even there my consideration set might get revised, right? So and therefore the first moment of truth is when you actually finish off all of that, and then you take a purchase decision. Again, your purchase is another key moment as to how the purchase process goes. In terms of the ease of really, let's say, the ease of payment, the ease of delivery, and so on and so forth. And then you move on to your second moment of truth. Just a minute. Yeah. So, what you're essentially then saying is, okay, so your TV gets delivered, how it gets delivered, the packaging, the setup, and so on and so forth also matters, and that's the second moment of truth, or that's the beginning of the second moment of truth. And then you start using your TV, and you enjoy it every time you watch it, or you might have issues. You'll figure out the ease of use, and a lot of other features which you might not have realized when you're doing your initial research. And that kind of becomes the longest part, depending on what kind of product or service you're talking about. And then again, let's say 2 years down the line, you say you want to replace your TV, and at that time, that's another trigger. And if you've really had a good experience across the entire life cycle, you'd want to say, you know what, I would like to consider the same brand because it has served me good, and that constitutes a loyalty loop. So in brief, the reason why I took some time to explain this journey is because the solution that we're talking about kind of allows you to influence different critical stages in the customer decision journey. Now, let's look at what would constitute a successful customer-centric organization. So obviously, these are the 8 attributes that that CBOL Group says would constitute a customer-centric organization. I won't read out all of them, but essentially, what it means is, your entire organization has to be focused around customer. All the processes that you set up, all the policies that you set up, the employees whom you hire, the way you train them, the way the service is delivered, the way the complaints are handled, the way new product design or new service design is kind of conducted, the way you innovate. All of it should keep customer at its core, and you should be trying to engage with your customers and prospects throughout the process. And then we'll briefly come back to the attributes at a later stage. So now we're talking about customer centricity. So we just briefly looked at it. Let's look at the concept of insights itself, and spend a little bit of time on this one. Now, when you talk about insights, this is the one of the popular frameworks, which is the DIKW framework, which really talks about the entire journey from data to wisdom, right? So if you really look at what data is it's raw information, or it's information in its very raw form. By itself, it doesn't have meaning. So this is something which gets generated as a result of interactions, transactions, and so on and so forth. The moment you kind of put it in a structured form, and kind of you create relationships between the structured data or with the unstructured data, and provide some more context, it becomes information. And then that's the first step. The moment you look at information and then you start identifying patterns in that information, that becomes knowledge. The next step is understanding, and which is more about, if this is happening, probably these are the causes, or either with some probability or maybe with complete confidence, or in a very deterministic way, that these are the causes, and therefore we really understand what's going on. And finally, when you apply a set of principles and human judgment and experience around it, and you carry it in either individual or organizational memory, it becomes wisdom. So, so what's insights? The circle that I've drawn, which kind of covers the information, knowledge, and understanding, and part of data as well. This circle would essentially help you move from data to true insight. So let's look at, having given that context and background, let's look at Cequity Insights and what is the solution about. So if you look at your screen, it's a number of things actually. I'll quickly walk you through that. So on the leftmost side, you have data, where it could be your customer data, your transaction data, online data, social data that you pulled off, or it could be third-party data either from the bureau or from information brokers who would provide you additional data points to enrich your information. So that's the various data sources that are available around your customer. And then you have data integration, wherein you take data from all these sources, you cleanse it, you transform it, you enrich it with additional attributes, so that the overall information quality improves. And then you put it into something called as a data hub. You might call it a data mart or a data warehouse or a operational data store or analytic mart. It depends on that specific use case or how you've architected your solutions internally. But essentially, it will translate into data being stored in a format which is appropriate for reporting, analysis, and analytics. And then what you have is, once your data is available in the data hub, you do a number of things with it, from a insight standpoint, which is you'd start off with a bunch of standard reports, visual analytics, which we'll briefly cover towards the end of the session. You'd want to do some deep exploratory analysis, saying, let me understand what are the different customer segments that I can come up with, and we'll look at a quick case study around it. And then finally, having all this data and done the exploratory analysis, can I extrapolate it to make certain predictions for my business? So if you then kind of do all of this, whether it's a report, the insights that you've gained from your visual analytics or segmentation or the predictions, the most important part is you need to act on it. It has to translate into a business action. So I've kind of pointed out a few business actions. It could be in the form of a campaign. It could be a customer survey. For example, you've realized or you've been receiving feedback that your customer service is not good, and therefore you might want to go and conduct a survey, and that's an action. Then you have loyalty, which is essentially, you might say, hey, I want to kind of treat my loyal customers differently, and therefore I'm going to take certain actions around it. And then you would have digital, which is in terms of, again, targeted messaging on the, let's say, on the digital channels or social channels and so on and so forth, at the right points in the journey. You'd actually want to do it. So essentially, if you look at Cequity Insights, it takes you from data to information to insights to understanding, and finally actions. And obviously this is a solution framework, and and one thing I would like to point out is it also has a strong flavor of so it's not necessarily a one size fits all kind of thing. It has a strong industry intelligence flavor, which essentially means that you would have, let's say, if you're in a BFSI or an insurance space or a durable goods space or a retail space, the industry intelligence that is built in would allow you to leverage the solution for your specific industry dynamics. For example, the nature of retail is quite different from, let's say, when I say retail, fast-moving consumer goods or apparel, or any of those would be quite different from let's say durable goods, which might be again different from, let's say, banking or insurance, right? So I'll just pause and quickly kind of point out what the dark gray boxes are about. These dark gray boxes are actually Cequity proprietary assets, which kind of really get embedded and enrich your solution. So Cequity CDQ is the data quality, customer data quality, and therefore it's a tool for you to enrich, not just enrich, but actually do cleansing, validation, and also enrichment of your data. Likewise, Cequity Social Smarts, it kind of plugs into the social channels which are relevant for your organization or industry, and pulls in data points which actually help you enrich your data, as well as when you move into the reports and visual analytics, it allows you to gain insights that are coming through social media. And we have Cequity CSV, which is the customer single view, which again kind of embeds a lot of best practices and learnings that we as an organization have kind of experienced over the past few years with across industries and across clients. We also have Cequity CDM, which is the campaign data mart. And this is something again which and by campaign essentially it's any communication that might be going out to your customer through any of the channels, and therefore right from the capturing the message till the time what was the response to that message, and then attributing it to certain transactions or activities. That's something which Cequity CDM facilitates. And then as I was mentioning, when it comes to insights, you have industry specific aspects, and therefore frameworks. For example, for life insurance, you would have insights, Cequity Insights for life insurance, and likewise for other sectors, whether it is banking or it's retail and so forth. And then on the action side, obviously, if I had to pick up, Cequity Loyalty. So that's again a platform which Cequity has, and that kind of gets embedded into the entire framework, allowing you to manage your customer loyalty. Cequity Customer Touch for something like conducting surveys, taking feedback from customers, and so on and so forth. Again, for campaign, we have homegrown tool which is which allows you to do effective campaign management and tracking. And then we also kind of have industry standard tools which can be plugged in. Just give me a moment to check if I have any questions so far. Okay, so maybe we'll just continue and we'll come back to the questions later. Yeah, so let's kind of look at our next poll question, which is, how does a solution leveraging data, tech, analytics, insights contribute to making an organization customer-centric? So this is essentially saying that if you have a solution which combines all these aspects, how do you think it will make an organization customer-centric? So let me just launch the poll. Any responses, please, from the choices? So essentially, it's about saying which is the one where you think there will be maximum impact. We'll give it half a minute more. All right, so let me close the poll. And if I really look at the responses, almost 50% of the respondents, say measuring what matters to customers, followed by 35%, which is engendering a customer-centric culture in the organization. So let's kind of go back to what I said initially, which is we'll come back to the attributes of a customer-centric organization. So actually, if you really look at the points and revisit what we talked about earlier, these were some of them which I had highlighted, or four of them which I thought were relevant. And if I hope you can hear me. All right. So as I was saying, in terms of engaging with customers from get-go, we'll look at a quick case study, but that's definitely something in terms of prospecting, the zero moment of truth, the first moment of truth, onboarding, and so on and so forth. Customer onboarding, it's definitely something that you can improve. And recognizing customer across all lines of businesses. Obviously, this is one of the pain points for multiple organizations today who have different SBUs or strategic business units or lines of businesses with fragmented systems, and therefore for them to recognize that a customer and for X for line of business A is the same as customer Y for line of business B becomes difficult, and therefore while the customer looks at you as one organization or one entity, which is a large group, let's say, a conglomerate or, a big brand, you as an organization is not really able to, connect the dots. And something like, Cequity Insights, by virtue of, let's say, the data quality, custom data quality solution that we have, the data hub that we can build out of it can actually help you with it. So let's come back to the question. Why Cequity Insights? Which is essentially saying it covers a gamut of things. Why is it important to really do so? So as I mentioned earlier, it takes into account all aspects of customer journey, and it not only provides insights but also supports you. The most important thing, which is follow through business actions. The second point is while it's available as a solution, it's flexible, as in if you have certain components already available in your organization, you made those investments, then you wouldn't really need to reinvest, and therefore the solution can be adapted to leverage your existing investments. So let's say you already have for example, you already have a data quality tool or a data integration tool or a visual analytics tool. This is something which can be embedded into this solution easily. It's extensible, as in, if there are certain requirements which are very specific to your organization or the industry nuances that you'd want, that is something which can be extended and therefore customized. A point I made earlier, the business best practices, a lot of learnings from implementations in past, as well as best practices from the industry, kind of embedded through the various Cequity solutions, which can be plugged into it, and therefore that has a very positive impact on your marketing return on investment. The most important thing whenever you take up a project of this sort, where you say, oh, I'll kind of roll this kind of solution, time to market, or in this particular case, time to implement and reap benefits out of it is very important. The senior leadership wouldn't have patience to wait for a year, 18 months, 2 years before they start looking at results. So one of the things we've been able to do with our experience is to provide a early harvest benefit, as we call it, which is quick wins in first few months of implementation, or within, let's say you start off the implementation, and in the first 3 or 4 months you'll have some quick wins, and at the same time you'll also end up building long-term enterprise assets. Then the other part is it has a support for a variety of databases, industry standard databases, reporting tools, and analytics platforms. So obviously there are two or couple of flavors which we've kind of which would be the go-to ones. But then, as I said earlier, if there are any preferences, or investments already made by the organization, those can be leveraged. And the last point being, it's flexible, so you could deploy it on premise, which, for example, for a lot of BFSI customers is important. And you also have an option to deploy it on the cloud. So we have partnerships, for example, with Amazon, and that kind of the products or the solution is proven on some of these platforms, and therefore that provides you with a good option. Let's quickly look at a case study, which so for the sake of simplicity, I've taken something which all of us, irrespective of the industry in which we work, should be able to relate to, and that is an integrated healthcare and wellness organization. So essentially, it has a bunch of wellness products, network of wellness centers, and also partnerships with consultants and doctors. So let's look at the first one, which typically is one of the aspects of early harvests, and that's segmentation. So in this particular case, you don't want to treat all of your customers or patients equally, as in you don't want to have a one-size-fits-all kind of approach, and therefore it's important that you understand your customers better, and a good way of doing it is you segment them, and once you segment them, customers with similar characteristics would fall in a particular segment, and then you can have a more customized engagement strategy for that particular segment. It also, in terms of actionability, it also helps you, let's say, provide a differentiated customer service, provide a differentiated, provide differentiated promotions, and so on and so forth. So typically, if you take this particular case, there are a number of data points which could be considered. The first is the health status of the individual. So let's say the BMI would give you the body type. What are the existing medical conditions? Are they how serious they are, and so on and so forth. The second one could be a behavior-based segmentation, which is what is the past behavior of this particular customer, with me. So, what are the different products or services that customer has consumed? What is this pattern in terms of the services that he comes for, the follow-up, and the adherence to recommendations, and so on and so forth. And finally, you could have category clusters, like, let's say, depending on the life stage, your needs, your wellness needs differ. Depending on gender, your wellness needs differ, and so on and so forth. And if you really run segmentation, you might come out with segments which take into account there's a time of day preference, there's a day of week preference. You might have single or multiple customers from the same household. You might have someone who's very health conscious, whereas another segment which kind of procrastinates. And then you could also have customers who are in proximity to your service centers, and others who might be traveling a distance, right? So this kind of just an example of how it can, if you apply it to your industry context, how it allows for segmentation. The second example is about one of the most critical use cases that we come across, which is customer acquisition. And essentially this is about saying who are the prospects with high likelihood of converting into a customer, which typically translates into a lead scoring kind of exercise. And the idea being, you want to target those customers who have a high probability of conversion, so that your efforts are well spent and you kind of get the revenue uplift that you're looking at. Again, if you look at the usual process, which is very well supported in the tool, you can do exploratory data analysis. I mean, the data is obviously integrated, the leads data, you can in the data hub, you can do an exploratory data analysis, create new variables if need be, which are derived variables. Therefore, get your analytical base table ready, and then do feature engineering or variable selection, build the models, and then once your model output is ready, kind of score your leads, and then classify them into something, let's say, like high, medium, low probability of actually conversion. And the benefits are obvious. It allows you to look at the resource, make the best use of your resources, and increase your chances of better conversions. A quick look at the third one, again a very popular use case, and that is around the customer retention. And this is basically saying, let me predict the patient or the customer who will churn from my network. And once I kind of do that, then let me come up with a strategy or a business action to intervene and see if I can really have them continue, because acquiring new customers is much more costly than retaining existing customers. Again, this is a typical use case which is very well supported by the tool. Let's move on. We have 10 more minutes, so we'll just touch upon the last topic, and I'll breeze through this one, and I think it will be covered off in maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll go back to see if there's a question. So quickly, what is visual analytics? A lot about it's become something that has become quite popular over the last 3 or 4 years, and if you were to take a 2005 definition, which is quite popular, it's a science of analytical reasoning supported by interactive visual interfaces. So the three aspects: one is the visuals, the second one is the ability to analyze data, and the third one is then the ability to meaningfully interact with the data. So why has visual analytics suddenly become important? As the popular term goes, big data, which is volume and variety, that has increased, and therefore data analysis, especially exploratory analysis, becomes quite difficult. And the second part is, so that's more of one of the drivers. The second key one being the supporting computing technology has matured and is now commercially available. And the third is more around the organizational aspects, where there's increased adoption of analytics over the last few years. The power users have become more sophisticated, so they're comfortable interacting with data, in a more sophisticated or visual way. And obviously, speed to insights has become important at the large volume of data. I wouldn't want to every time find an analyst who will write a query for me and kind of run that query, come back with results, then I figure out this is not what I wanted. Maybe I wanted to look at another cut or another attribute. Again, it goes through the entire process. So what about making it self-service and therefore improving the speed to insights? So just take a glimpse of the number of tools available in the market. So the one that I'll quickly show you screenshots about is InsightView. It's a Cequity group company product, and we'll just look at some of the visuals, which gives you a flavor of how visual analytics technology works. So the first one is drill down, with threshold indicators, and I think in one of our subsequent webinars, we'll do a live demo of the tool itself. Right now, we'll have the screen grabs available, and we'll go with that. So, if you really look at it, this is a very meaningful and interactive way of looking at your hierarchical data, especially your aggregation. You drill down, then at each of the levels, you're also looking at is it within a certain range, plus minus, let's say in this particular case 5%. Right. So, and all of this is, when you click on any of those dots, depending on what the current status is, it will allow you to drill down, aggregate, filter, and just look at different views of it. The second one, interesting one, is a day-hour heat map, and for example, this one actually allows you to see from 4th of Jan to 10th of Jan, 4th of Jan of previous year to 10th of Jan of this year, which is 367 days. What is the level of activity across the 24 hours that I have by day of the week. So if you look at the circumference of the outermost circle, you have the timeline. If you look at the day of the week, these are essentially the different concentric circles, and if you look at the the shade, the deeper the shade, the higher the level of activity. So dark blue would indicate higher levels of activity as compared to something which is a shade lighter, and so on and so forth. And then you see the minus and plus. You can actually do a time, you can move across the time dimension, forward and backward, and dynamically all these cells will change depending on what slice of time you're looking at. And then there's another interesting one, which is which is a two-part graph, and in this particular case, saying product category, and just looking at units or just looking at revenue in a hierarchical way, on their own is not good enough. Let me look at it, at these two, measures, which is units and revenue. Let's say in this particular case for grooming and wellness, and let me see if I'm selling X% units, what is the contribution? What is the percentage contribution to the revenue? So basically, you can interactively, filter data. You can look at the various levels in the hierarchy, and it gives you insights which otherwise purely from data would be hard to kind of find. And this is the heat tree map, which should be many of you should be familiar with, and basically the size or the area of each of these rectangles tells you one measure and the color another. And these are zoomable, so you can drill down, aggregate, and so on and so forth. Again, an example of how visual analytics can kind of give you a sense of proportion and layer multiple measures at the same time. Again, a Geo View, which is in this particular case, I'm looking at and filtering a certain set of outlets that I have in the city of Bangalore, and I can also overlay a measure whether it's revenue, whether it's the number of customers who have visited, and so on and so forth, and therefore have a geographical view of things, which is again quite visual, interactive and therefore provides a different set of insights. So with that, I'll kind of wind up the presentation. I think it went on for a bit longer, and I'll just check if there are any questions. So apologies if I've kind of missed them out so far. So let me quickly check. Yeah, so I have a bunch of questions and I'll quickly try to address them. So, the first one is from Akash, and it says that let's take the example of customer acquisition. A very common question that comes up for debate is that once we build a predictive model to rank the leads, should the business target those leads which are more likely to convert or those which are less likely to convert? I think Akash, just to quickly answer your question, I think it's out of many things. One is a business strategy part of it. How much investments are you are willing to make, and are you looking at growth first and profitability later, or profitability first and growth later? Having said that, you can also run experiments in terms of, let's say having, a kind of A/B testing kind of thing, or even, having a test and control, and then figuring out through experimentation what pays off, better. The second question that I have is, from Deep, and the question is, how easy is it to install and use InsightView? So, in the, so Deep, and I think when we do the demo in one of the next webinars, I think InsightView on its own, is easy to install and use, because the whole purpose is it's a visual analytics tool, and therefore, therefore it should be something which people are able to use easily. It shouldn't need geeks or programmers or developers or designers to use it. I think what's more important is the other aspects that we looked at in Cequity Insights, which is, the most fundamental one is, have you got all your data, in the right structure, in the right place with requisite quality? And therefore, that many times becomes an issue. If you've passed that, it's a big hurdle that you've crossed, and therefore you can leverage, something like an InsightView. The second one is, okay, how many data points have you got? And therefore data enrichment and the ability to, if you've taken an action, the ability to capture the outcomes of that action, feed that data back into the system, and then make the system more intelligent, or the data that you've captured more intelligent, is something which something which determines the success or failure. I think the next question is, I think it's a related question, and it says, how soon can InsightView, or I think I'll take this question, interpret this question as, how soon can Cequity Insights be deployed, as in what is the speed of deployment? So to again, I'll go back to the first question, or I'll go back to the Cequity Insights overall, the solution view. I think it depends on your current state of readiness, and therefore one of the first things that we suggest is to do a quick assessment of your current state of readiness across a number of dimensions. Where are you in terms of capturing your data, cleansing it, integrating it, enriching it? How analytics aware is your organization across levels, starting from senior leadership to the analyst who is actually going to do it, because that itself constitutes a big organizational change. The third is what are the investments that you've already made in your let's say IT infrastructure, in terms of tool sets and so on and so forth, right? So to cut the long story short, I think a quick assessment of your particular situation would help us, kind of really get there. Let's say, you're in a situation where, you want to do it ground up. You don't really have, don't really have a lot of stuff, and therefore, how long will it take? So as I mentioned in one of my slides earlier, we were looking at, this facilitates an early harvest approach. And therefore, even if you were to start, let's say, from scratch, so as to speak, the early harvest, typically what we've seen is an intense activity of 3 to 4 months starts giving you the initial results. That doesn't mean your solution or your Cequity Insights is activated fully for let's say all units of your organization or all lines of businesses or all use cases, but you start getting the first level insights, and then you can start applying it. And typically then, depending on the size of organization, the size of data, how many use cases, what is the priority, you want to go in an iterative way, or or relatively, let's say, if not big bang, but many steps at a time, it will differ. But typically you should start seeing results 3 to 4 months after you start the implementation. And the full scale implementation, let's say for a large organization, could be a year to 15 months. The next question is, how easy is it for people without technical skill set? So I think the whole reason I specifically called out visual analytics was precisely to kind of point out that the tool itself, or this set of tools, are relatively easy to use, because they don't really expect you to know any programming language. You should be able to kind of make sense of data. You should be able to navigate, and therefore I think if these are the two things you're able to do, it becomes it's quite easy to use the tool. And that kind of hides the in a way, it hides the complexity of all the underlying analytic models, the data processes, and so on and so forth from the end user. And that's the that's one of the critical use cases with something like Cequity Insights, when implemented, kind of allows you to do. Any more questions? So I'll give it another, half a minute or so. Otherwise, we're shooting past 5 o'clock. All right. So, no questions so far. Thanks a lot for taking time out, of your busy schedules, and especially in a pre-Diwali or just near Diwali season. So happy Diwali to all of you in advance. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Please reach out to the contacts you have in Cequity, or visit our website, or feel free to drop me a message. Thank you so much. This first of the series, and hopefully we have more of them lined up ahead.